collect stories and circulate life-changing wisdom. I'm your host, Asher, and my guest today is Michelle. And Michelle, you're here to talk about dreams, the theme of the day, the theme of the week, to talk about what we need to think the world feel. And it is Thursday, and we got one more day for the weekend. So, Michelle, if you don't
Mhm.
mind, share with us where you're hailing from, what you specialize in, or you're adding value to the world, and who you being a hero to.
Great. First, I'm so glad to be here. And this is my favorite topic, dreams. I actually have it painted on my living room wall so that my children grew up seeing the word dream
Mm,
every day. So, very excited for this conversation. I hail from Lexington, Kentucky. I've been here almost 26 years, but I'm originally from New York, and grew up on Long Island for those New Yorkers who are seeing this. I grew up near Jones Beach. They'll all know what I'm talking about when I say
mhm,
that. I'm a master health coach and a master personal trainer. I have been doing that for 27 years. I have a PhD in holistic nutrition, as well as a few other degrees that have just kind of really coalesced to help me do this job. I hope really well and to be really passionate about it. And
mhm,
how I start out my sessions with my clients is, what do you dream of? What
mm,
is your goal when you come to my office and tell me you need a trainer or you need a coach or you need someone to help you with nutrition? Because it all starts with the dream.
mm. And who you being a hero to right now?
Oh, well, I'm going to go big first. I'm hoping that I'm being a hero to my sons, showing them, right, what a woman can do and that she can be a mother, that she can be a wife, she can be an entrepreneur, a successful business owner, and that they too can have that dream for themselves. But then also in my career right now, what I'm working on and focusing on primarily is women in midlife,
Mm,
myself being there. And then when I started to do the research on midlife women and realizing, honestly, there's nothing out there during the time that I was looking. It's getting better, and we can
mhm,
talk about that. But at the time that I was looking, the only thing I could find was midlife crisis. And I was thinking to myself, well, I certainly don't want a midlife crisis. What I want is a midlife renaissance.
mm,
And that is what I started to build and create and dream about. And that's been the journey the last 6 years, is how do I create my own midlife renaissance, and how do I help women create their own personal midlife renaissance?
That is incredible, Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing. And I gotta give you some compliment here. You look incredibly well for your age, by the way. I don't know exact number, but I know you're based on some of the time that we spoke about earlier. You look very well kept, and you hold it together very well. So I want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I have no problem telling you my age because it's part of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's my journey as a woman, and it's part of my journey as a business person, as an entrepreneur. And I feel like it's really important for me to own it. I am
Mm.
going to be 57 this year,
A lucky
and
number, 57. Mm.
57. And I know I take care of myself. I'm constantly learning how to take care of myself in ways that elevate not just how I look, honestly, but also how I feel,
Mm-hmm.
how I want to feel, how I see myself, how I dream about feeling when I'm 60, 65. To me, this is all like sweat equity, life, health equity that I'm putting in now for how I'll be when I'm 60, 65, 70.
Mm.
And so it's always about the vision,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that when I hold on to that vision, when my clients hold on to that vision, when you hold on to that vision, you make decisions now about what you're going to do, right? And
Mm.
in that case, that now also affects how you are today. So for me to feel good or to look good is because I'm thinking about what's happening for me at 60, 65, 70.
Mm. I love where you put that. And I have to go here a little bit so if we can kind of tie it back. But if you got to think about the people that you want to be a hero to, and some of the
Mhm.
big danger signs that pops up for them that you got to like find a way to help them eliminate, what are some of those danger signs that you see?
I think if I think I understand what you're asking me, I think I would say that it's themselves. It's the
Mm-hmm.
danger of listening to the voice of the past
Mm-hmm.
versus the voice of the future,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it's always the voices that are I call them in my world because of what I do, right? I help women change their lifestyle so they can change their bodies, their health, and their future. They can
Mm-hmm.
create their midlife residence. So I'm a weight loss, health coach, nutrition coach, fitness coach, that kind of thing. But to me, it's not mutually exclusive from the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So the danger is always thinking about what you've done, how it's gone, the voices in your head that are telling you you can't, you shouldn't, you won't, you'll fail.
Mm-hmm.
You did this before, so why do you think you can do it now? So it's your past self that is the danger, not your future self.
Mm. So if we had to flip that and look at the opportunities for the future, what are some of those signs that people should look out for?
Is that they start to become really aware of how much their mindset is
Mm-hmm.
changing about the whole thing. That it no longer feels like, well, I failed this week. I didn't do it perfectly. They understand that no, these are learning tools.
Mm-hmm.
Where did it break down? How do I shift and pivot to fix that in myself, in my world, in my environment, with my family, my relationships? And then how do I learn from that and step forward? When that kind of mindset starts to really shine forth, and I don't have to keep reinforcing it for my clients, that's when I know that, well, I like to say, like, my work is starting to get into their head. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That they're starting to develop what we know in psych world as growth mindset, right? That
Mm-hmm.
they're really starting to believe in themselves, believe in their ability to take radical self responsibility and build their own self agency moving forward on how to live their best life.
I love the way you put that, by the way, because something I discovered too is it's very hard for you to sell somebody on their future if they have no appreciation for their past.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult. But I think also to have a confident future, you have to have a confident past too. You have to really own that past, and that's your like your intellectual property. That you own that, you created that. That experience is yours. And once you own that, now the future seems a lot more easier. So I'm curious about what is your big dream? What is your big dream?
Yeah. So right now I have several always, not
Mhm.
always. I'm a dreamer, always have been. So right now my dream, I have a one-on-one business in person. So that I've been doing for 27 years. And when 2020 happened and we all had to get online, and we all needed to figure out how to make a living online or
Mhm.
to do our jobs online, right? I started to, well, first it was, okay, just need to work. And then I started to see the potential
Mhm.
of my message and how it could reach women across the globe, particularly midlife women. I cannot stress enough how little information there is out there for women in midlife, let alone to be talking about a midlife renaissance. We're talking about how to survive the midlife crisis. We're not talking about health. We're not talking about how to take care of your health. What happens to your body as it changes? What's the best way to take care of your health? If you live in the Middle East, where your food is different than my food in Lexington, Kentucky, you don't buy that diet book from Barnes and Nobles that was written for people in America. This is what you've got to eat in
Mhm.
order to be healthy or to lose weight or whatever it is that you're trying to solve. So it's about giving agency to women across the globe about how to figure out how to make choices for themselves that's going to improve their health, their medical biomarkers, their sense of self, and give them power back. So that's my big goal, is to change the conversation that we are having about health, about wellness, about beauty, about age and ageism, and how each woman, no matter where you are, can have all of that, and that you can figure it out for yourself. You just need some tools. You just
Mm.
need some help, some guidance. But you definitely don't need that book that was written by somebody in Lexington, Kentucky, who's telling you to eat, I'm going to make something up, collard greens when they don't have collard greens. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like because it's high in iron and high in fiber, and they don't even have that.
Mm.
So I work with women right now all over, and they'll say, well, I don't have this, or I don't eat this, or my culture eats differently,
Mhm.
or I live in an area where I can't get those things. And what they're thinking about, Asher, is things that they've read in a book, a diet book, or that they read in an article, or that they've seen someone say, this is what you're supposed to be eating, but they don't have any access to it.
Mhm.
So I want to change that conversation, and I'm doing it one person at a time. How do you find your best health, your best weight, whatever it is that you're trying to do with
Mm.
what you've got, with what you know, and the fact that you're 45, 50, 55, 60, you still have plenty of years,
Mm.
right?
Still got a big future, a future that
Right,
probably still bigger than your past. Yes.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Appreciate the past.
Mm-hmm.
Let's learn from the past, but then let's just go forward.
Mm. I love what you put that, by the way, because now you got me thinking, you know, like how do you look at somebody that has a unique problem and trying to create a unique solution for their unique problem? Because oftentimes you say you go one person at a time, and that requires really, really learning about that person's story, really like learning about their what's specific to them to create a unique solution. So how have you
Mhm.
been doing that?
So the first thing we do is we find out the vision. What's the
Mm-hmm.
dream?
Mm.
What do you want to do? And obvious, there's a lot of times I get the answer, well, obviously, I want to lose weight. And I'm like, no, that's just a symptom. What do you want to do? Why do you want to lose weight? I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
give you an example of a woman because it's very clear and very simple. Once she started to do this, once she started to go through this process and answer, and I would go, no, you have got to go in a little bit deeper than that. It's more than just lose weight. It's more than that. She was like, okay, I have two grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sit in a chair because I'm too heavy and too sick and watch their lives go by. Just watch them grow. I want to be in it when they're growing. I want to be the grandma on the floor who is coloring and playing with the
Mm-hmm.
cars. I want to be the grandma outside who is kicking the ball around. I want to be not be known as the grandma who sat because she couldn't do these things. And once she got it, I often say when you feel like those tears are kind of start to come,
Mm-hmm.
once you're onto something,
The why that makes you cry.
right? She lost 80 pounds
Mm.
and started walking, then started jogging, then decided to do a 5K. And now she's training for a 10K. These are things that were not on her radar. These were not the things that she said she wanted to do. But these are the things that came up as she continued to dream, as she continued to change, as she continued to gain self agency and realize my life at 62 is not over. I can still do lots of things.
Mm. You have grandkids?
I don't. I
Mhm.
have young kids. I honestly, I had my last kid at 39.
Okay, okay.
So
Mm.
he's 20, they'll be 21 and 17.
Okay, okay, no, I got you. I understand. I was thinking, no, I was thinking about you was talking about the grandma. So I was like, okay, you're probably looking forward to be grandma too, maybe later on. But you since you got them a little bit late, then cool, I got you.
Yes. Do you have children?
I have one, 18.
18.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, let's imagine this, by the way. Like, imagine being 34 years old
Mm-hmm.
and already have 9 kids.
9 kids.
Mhm.
Yes.
That was my mom.
That was your mom.
At 34, she already had 9. I don't know if she did it.
I don't either because two was plenty. Two, two for me was
One is
plenty.
plenty for me.
One is plenty, right? So then I go, okay, with a woman like that, how
hmm
old was she when all of you were out?
34 years old, she already had 9.
She'd already had nine,
hmm
but she's raising nine. And
hmm
then when's the last one out of the house? How old is she?
Oh, when the last one out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, our culture, we stick around, so it's kind of hard to answer that question. People come and go back and forth. But I know my youngest brother, because he had moved to Colorado with me when I was stationed in Colorado back in 2010, and he was the youngest. So he came there. But then sometimes my other brothers, sometimes they come back, they stay, they leave, whatever, right? Back and forth. And sisters right on. So it's like the culture stays. I love the culture that stays in the same house because then people get to pass stuff on. But so my
Mm-hmm.
mom, she always have people around her, grandkids, whatever around her. So it's like, but yeah. But 2010 could be a good date. That's the last one.
Right, right, right. And so then what does she dream of next for herself?
Oh, she just want to chill. She go to Jamaica when she's Jamaica right now. So she go back and forth and she just want to chill alone.
But that was the dream,
Mm.
right? Do you see? So I don't qualify the dream for these women. I just find out what is it? What is
Yes.
it that you want, right? Not everyone wants to go and be a Michelle who wants to get on and help women transform their own lives from around the world. She
Mhm.
just wanted to be the grandmother that didn't sit because she had to.
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
see? That was her big dream. And now she's living it. And because she's living it, she's imagining other things for herself now.
Mm-hmm.
I know people think sometimes that, to focus on weight loss and health is surface level thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? That beauty is inside and I agree with all of those things. Don't get me wrong before someone starts yelling at me for saying something like that. But this is what I know after 27 years in the trenches, like I said, working with people who deeply want to change their weight,
Mm-hmm.
their health, is that it's almost like a gateway to them being able to believe in the possibility that now they can do other things. And that to me is the greatest gift of what I do.
Mm-hmm. I strongly believe in mobility.
Mm.
Like if I can move, like if I imagine myself, I'm gonna do an experiment with you. It's like I thought about like if I had to lose one of my five senses, like which one would I give up?
Oh, goodness. Mm.
And I thought about it a lot, and I came down to my eyesight.
Oh, you did.
I would give that up. And the reason why I said that because there's something about my hearing that I don't think no other my senses have given me what the value that what my hearing gives me.
Hmm.
But I thought about mobility, like moving around, be able to go see the world too. But I've seen the world enough so where I can live in my imagination for the next couple of years, right? But I thought about it. I was like, which one would I give up? And I was like, it would be my eyesight because I couldn't think I can live without music, right? Or the voices of people.
Hmm.
I don't think I can live without those things. I don't know. What about you?
I've been trying to think about it really quickly since you asked me, since you put me in the hot seat.
You
And
don't, you
this is
don't you don't have to make a choice, but maybe you can
that's
think of.
okay. But I
Mm,
I think I'll probably think about it once we finish this conversation. This will
mhm,
be something that I think about when I go for my run in the morning. I'll be
mhm,
thinking about it because I haven't never been asked that question in all my life,
mhm,
57 years. I think for me, which may sound strange to people, it's going to be my sense of taste.
mhm.
And I will tell
You
you,
want you would give that up or you wouldn't give that up?
I would.
You would.
You,
Okay. Okay.
yes,
Taste.
because
Okay.
because mobility, I'm with you. I
Mm,
move, right? I have a dance background. I was a ballerina, so I'm Puerto Rican. We dance,
mhm,
so we dance all the time. I dance with my sons in the kitchen. I run, I lift, I hike. I can't give that up. Mobility, I love to
mhm,
travel.
mhm,
I'm a singer. I love to hear the birds, the ocean, all of it, music, visual. I'm an
mhm,
artist. I love to paint. I can't give that up. So like I've been going through the ones as you were talking, is like, oh, I
uh-huh,
can't give that up. So when you
uh-huh,
give up your sense of taste, there's also probably going to be a little bit of loss of smell because they're so connected,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
But I think I'm okay with that. But I need to see, hear, and move.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Taste. I haven't thought about that one until you
Yeah,
said it just now. I thought about it, but I didn't thought about like what would my life be without if I can taste anything.
right.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I love the flavor of food, but I just um. But what else do we taste that? Well, yeah, I got to think about that one now. See, you put me in a hot
Right.
seat
See,
now.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I love food. I love the taste
Mm-hmm.
of food, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a foodie. You know how you meet people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're just like, they'll start talking about food, and you're thinking, wow, they really love food. They love the tastes. And then when the combination of these flavors and they're thinking about it, I like good food, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not my first thing.
But interestingly, you said the tasting and the smelling goes hand in hand, just like the hearing and
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. So that would be that
Mm-hmm.
would be
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that would be interesting. A world without taste. What would that world be?
Yeah.
A world without sight. What would that
Well,
world be?
not to go into this direction, but
Mm-hmm.
right, you've probably met people who, when they experienced COVID, they lost their sense of taste,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I had clients who lost their sense of taste and admitted it was very strange, but it didn't seem to affect them terribly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It was like, yeah, it's weird not to taste things, but I know I need to eat, so I do still eat food,
Mm-hmm.
and I try and eat nourishing food, but I can't taste it. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, get back into your journey. So, why is this profession that you're in right now? Why is it so important for you?
I've had a lot of time to think about it, and it's because I am like my clients. So I hopefully am. It's a very popular term right now. I am leading from the front, So I hadn't really thought about that till I really started to get into the coaching world. But I started dancing when I was 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a ballerina. At 12, that's what I thought I was going to be until someone told me at 12 I was going to have to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And what does a 12-year-old girl know about how to lose weight, let alone how to lose weight healthy? No one. And I come from, you're Jamaican, I come from a Puerto Rican background. A lot of rice and beans, a lot of plantains, right? A lot of pork. Not much salad, right? I did not know what broccoli or beets or kale were until I left home. So at 12, I just started not eating, and also what does is it makes you incredibly self-conscious
Mm-hmm.
about you. And I stayed in that dancing world, honestly, till I was 40. So I had costume designers who would make comments about my more curvy figure. If anybody out there knows about Missy Copeland, she had the same experience. She's one of the lead ballerinas from ABT, American Ballet Theater. And she's African American, but she's also a little more curvy.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a lot of trouble when she was younger being accepted into the world because she was a little bit more curvy than the other ballerinas. So I had that same experience. And it just kind of spiraled me into years and years and years of yo-yo dieting,
Mm.
of trying different ones. Oh, it's this diet now. Okay, I'll do this one. And then this one became popular, so I would do this one. And it was all very hush hush. I never told anybody. My parents had no idea that this was going on, but this is what was going on. Flash forward to adulthood, flash forward to I am now in the fitness industry, which seems apropos since I've always been trying to stay in shape, stay
Mhm.
lean, stay, healthy and look a certain way. And I just got really tired of it. And I thought, there has got to be a different way than always being on a diet of some kind. There's a statistic that by the time a woman reaches 50, she will have tried at least 61 diets. That's incredible.
Mm.
And that about 70% of women who are in their 50s and 60s are still looking for a way to lose weight. They're still not happy about their body. They're still trying to figure out how to find the right diet for themselves. So I went to the Mayo Clinic coaching program, and I learned this whole new technique, this behavioral modification technique. I pulled it into what I was already doing, and I created a program. I call it the Midlife Body Reboot, but
Mhm.
it's really so much more a behavioral program of how to get your mind to start to change and shift how you look about living and your lifestyle so that you can stop dieting.
Mm.
All you're now doing is living in your healthiest, best way. And you're doing it in the way that you can do it, not the way Michele does it, not the way Jane does it, how you would do it in order to get to your goals.
Mm. So in this moment of discovery, what message would you send to maybe that version of yourself that probably was misguided? I wouldn't, if that's not the word you would use, but misguided as far as on this journey. Like, what message would you give to that person to find a way like you did?
To my younger self who was dieting all the time. hmm I think that if that were my daughter,
Mm.
okay, let's do it that way. I think if she were my daughter, which is what I've done with my sons, by the way,
Mm.
is teach them how to live in a way so that they feel healthy, so that they look healthy, that they feel good about themselves. And all I did was teach them, which is what I would teach her, is to stop doing all of these really dramatic, complicated programs that are cookie cutter. They don't take into account your life, your personality, your culture, your environment, your family, your relationships, what's going on with you right now. And with these just basic tools, with these few little shifts and changes and pivots, learn how to take care of yourself so that you learn to love yourself, feel good about yourself, and actually get to the goal that you're trying to get. Like, not everybody wants to be a size 2,
Mm.
you know? Some women come to me and they're like, if I could just be a healthy 12, which in the generalized world sounds like a big size.
Mm.
If you're looking at Hollywood in America, I'm not talking about the rest of the world. I'm talking about like in America, where I'm working in primarily, is like that is considered a large woman. But if we can get beyond that and be, how are you healthy? Do you feel healthy? Do you feel amazing? Do you feel the way you want to? That's what I would tell her, is that you can still be the dancer you want to be, but let's do this in a healthy way, in an easy way, which is the other thing that no one talks about.
Mm. And I can see your vision very clear. Maybe the person that's listening to this might see it too, but oftentimes we run into obstacles when there's a vision. There's always an obstacle. But how do you combat the the distraction of the obstacles to get people to focus on the vision
hmm
of creating that person that you know they can be?
hmm And then also the obstacle in, especially in my world, is um, here's a good obstacle. The holidays are coming. Whatever holiday, right? Because I have clients who have different holidays, Ramadan, so whatever holiday. And I'll say, well, what's the problem with that? Well, I can't do it in this way. I'm like, well, what way can you do it in? I asked that question and they're like, oh, you mean I don't have to do it that way?
Mm.
No, let's figure out a way of what you can do that still keeps you moving forward towards your goals, but allows you to enjoy the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
This is self-agency. This is you figuring it out versus, again, you get this book and it says on this week, you will be eating these things. You will be exercising in these phases and in these zones, right? Because I've read all the books. I've done all the books. I was right there with my clients doing all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But once I took agency over my self-care and started making daily decisions about what I was going to do, it was a game changer. And suddenly I was keeping the weight off and not feeling like I was suffering, keeping the weight off and not feeling like I was on some kind of diet, keeping the weight off and still enjoying my friends, my families, my holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I like to say my pizza, my glass of red wine, my piece of cake when I want it, which is not, you don't hear that message at very much at all, but that is truly the truth. And you get rid of
Mm-hmm.
that mentality of dieting, can't have, sacrifice, perfectionism, all or nothing. These are diet mentality codes. These are thought errors that I feel I need to help women because it is so deeply ingrained in us at a very young age.
This is America.
Yes.
This is America. We have a really big problem,
Yes.
like a really big problem, and it's like they have created a market for dieting
Yes.
based on the food that we have we've been fed. It's a lot, it's a really tough battle. I mean, congratulations to you for really like for maintaining yourself that well. I mean, well, it's very hard for a lot of people, like very hard. Like I mean, I've been slim most of my life too, because sometimes people says, "Well, Asher, you're slim. You don't have to be
Mm-hmm.
big challenge." I'm like, listen, it's it's easy to lose weight. It's harder to keep it off. That's how I see it. It's harder to
Yeah.
keep it off. I can go in and gain some weight and then lose it or lose some weight, but then it's kind of trying to maintain this stuff. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of it's different kind of mindset to lose the weight and different kind of mindset to keep it off. And I'm sure that you probably seen that in your profession where it's like, yeah, I've been holding myself together, but it takes a lot of work too.
So
Or is
you just hit the button,
mm,
right? Because we can when okay. You can go to my YouTube channel and see all these different because I don't rant, but I do talk about this a lot because you just hit it. It's the mindset.
mm,
And it's about developing the mindset. And when you buy a diet book or when you buy a diet program online, they're not talking about your mindset. They're just
mm,
saying you are going to do these things and you should just be willing to do it because you want to lose weight. So you're going to go home, you're going to throw out all your stuff, all the food you spent all that money on.
mm,
You're going to throw that all out. Now you got to go to the store and you're going to get all this new stuff. And this is it. This is all you get. Yeah, because you want to lose weight. No, I'm sorry. Your friends, your family, and everybody else in your culture can go ahead and have the plantains and the rice and beans and in my world it would be rum and cokes, right? But not you. I'm sorry because you want to lose weight and you've bought this diet and this is it. So what I'm saying is like it doesn't have to be that way.
mm,
If I can help you through these small tools, behavioral tools, elevate your mindset so that it really starts to become so much more of a positive mindset, a growth mindset, a forward thinking mindset, my vision, my goal, my lighthouse, my North Star, my dream. And I hold on to that for dear life. The choices that I make no longer seem like hardships because,
Mm.
boy, do I want that.
That is powerful. There is a saying that I don't know who's, I'm a paraphrase the quote, but it says, practice the habits of where you're going, not where you're coming from.
Mhm,
And oftentimes that makes life a lot more easier. So if we are doing the habits of the things that are causing us a lot of ill versus the habit of the thing that's going to make us healthy, we gotta focus on those habits and practice those, the
mhm,
direction we want to go, and that sometimes make us feel good.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it also, once you become really clear on that, all the things that you thought you had to do suddenly start to fall over by the wayside because you realize, in order for me to get here, I really don't have to do that. I know that book said that, but I don't really have to do that. I could do this instead. For instance, I like to give concrete examples because this can sound very 10,000 view, right? Very, very esoteric. And I want to really give concrete examples of that for people who are listening so that they get what I mean by this. So I have a woman who was able to lose 50 pounds. Did she change some nutritional behaviors? Absolutely. But when you think of exercise, what's the first thing most people are thinking about? I got to go to the gym,
Mm.
right? I got to do weights. I should probably go running, right? No, this woman decided to buy a hula hoop
Mm.
and she did hula hoop class videos on YouTube. And that is how she lost 50 pounds
Mobility. She was moving her body.
moving. Right. So one of the first things I say to people is open your scope of movement. Because I have people who I hate exercise. I hate exercise. I don't want to exercise. I don't want to sweat. I don't want to lift weights. I'm nervous to go in. I'm like, okay, let's stop calling it exercise. Let's just call it movement. What are you willing to do?
Mm.
And then we go from there. As opposed to always thinking, no, I've got to give up this food group because this food group book said I got to give up this food group. And I go, okay, well, I'm Puerto Rican. Rice and beans is kind of hard for me to give up, right? Right. There are certain foods where you're just going, I
Yeah,
don't
my
know if I
culture's on the plate. We getting sensitive about that right there. I got
right there. Right, right, right. I'm in the South. So trust me, if I say no more barbecue, I'm in trouble, you know? So it's figuring out how people can have barbecue, but still reach their goals.
hmm
Yeah. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, figuring out how you can still do things and still reach your goals. But when I hear weight loss is hard, it's because it's that past thinking,
hmm
all the books you've read,
The commercials.
the commercials, all the articles, all the people who kept telling you, oh, it's so hard. I couldn't give up that whole food group. It was just too hard, right? I went home for the holidays and it was that food group across the table, nothing else, right? And and the book doesn't give you any options.
And guiltiness is a heavy weight too.
Guilt, shame,
hmm
right?
Those are
Perf-
fat.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Those are mental fat.
That's right. Yeah, that's perfect. I might have to borrow that one.
Yeah. It just came to me.
Yes, yes. But if we want to take a big view away from this too, is the same tools that I use to help women
Mhm.
lose weight, get healthier, right? Because some of the women that I'm dealing with, you have to remind yourself, are dealing with A1C issues, high blood pressure issues, high cholesterol issues as well, right? They've gone through the change, right? They've gone through menopause. They're dealing with some serious health issues. It's not just the weight sometimes.
Mm.
So even though I'm talking about it here in that arena, let's just shift. Let's just shift those same tools to you want to live in Portugal for a year. Okay. Well, that's your vision. That's your lighthouse. That's your North Star. And instead of listening to all the reasons why you can't, that you've heard from the past, or the things that you're going to have to do to make that happen, let's take a look at your vision, reverse engineer how you are going to get there, and then start taking steps forwards to make that happen.
Mm. I would add to that, I would say RIP to I can't.
Yes.
My coach, he has his on his business card. It says success comes in cans, not in cannots. And it has that written on
Mhm.
it too. On a can, by the way.
Annika. Yeah, yeah.
On a can. It says
Oh, that's
success
great.
comes in can, not
Mm-hmm.
in cannots. And it's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. But when I think about it sometimes, I'm like, yeah, you just got RIP, I can't, because you can do anything you want to do if you have the right strategy, the right vision, the right
Mm-hmm.
help, the right mindset, like you've been harping on so much, and you can
Yes.
get there.
Yes.
Hmm.
I know it's really hard to believe it's up here,
Mm,
right? Um, I think sometimes people interpret it as it's my fault
mm,
versus no, you may just not have been given the tools in the past or the thoughts in the past, the ideas to focus on to help your mindset get you where you want to go
mm,
for whatever reason, for whatever environment, right?
mm,
But then get help, coaches, therapy, professionals who have done it beforehand, who can help you to elevate you, to push you forward, mentors, right? Get people to help you to change that mindset that tells you you can't.
mm. If somebody hear you and like, Michelle,
Hmm.
we talk about hero when we first started, but you sound like my hero right now. And I would
Hmm.
love to work with you. How can I work with you?
So the easiest way to get in touch with me is I use my name for everything. So it's Michele DeJesus LLC on Facebook, at Michele D PhD on Instagram. You can find Michele DeJesus LLC on YouTube and on LinkedIn. So I'm everywhere and I'm really accessible. Just write to me, DM me. Michele at micheledejesus.com is my email address.
Mm.
And let's have a conversation. Let's talk.
Yeah, they will, because you sound
Well,
like you are an incredible woman, and you
well,
look
thank you so
incredible.
much.
So
Thank you so
so
much.
all the above will definitely be an example for people that are looking for someone to kind of guide them. You if you think about like the hero's journey, right? I love this the breakdown of the hero's journey where we all started off going after something that we really want. Like we want it, going after it, and then we encounter an obstacle, and the obstacle kind of beat us down, make you feel like we can't really achieve this thing. We feel like we're
Mm-hmm.
stuck, trapped, overwhelmed. But then here comes a guide like Michelle and says, "Hello, young lady or mature woman.
Mm-hmm.
Here goes a plan. I have a plan. Try this plan." You say, "Okay, I'm desperate. I try this plan." And that plan help you avoid failure and up in success. And
Yes.
oftentimes that's how the journey is. We just gotta find the right people that have the right solutions that been thinking about this thing longer than we have. Because I'm sure you wake up every day thinking about this stuff.
Oh,
That's all you think about.
it's
Therefore,
always.
your mind is very sharp at it, right? But some people, that's not what they think about every day. They have other things they gotta worry
Mm-hmm.
about. So I always look for somebody that has been thinking about the thing longer than I have, that been spending all day obsessed about this thing. I want to talk to them because I know they are thinking about it in a way that makes it easy for them. And if I just gotta find how you're thinking about it, what is that intellectual shortcut that you just figured out that you can give me, or you can sell me if I gotta buy it, right? But I get the shortcut,
Mm-hmm.
I can go and achieve my dream, achieve my goal, like a hero's journey. What are your
Yes.
thoughts?
Yes. And I will add to that, not only do I show you, but I actually walk it with you.
Mm,
So in my program, if you come to my program, let's say, I walk this with you. I'm coaching all the time in a group as well as individual. I
mm-hmm,
walk it because I understand how tough this journey is. This particular walk is. We are surrounded by food, we are surrounded by images, we are
mm-hmm,
surrounded by the conversation of it all. And I know that what I'm saying runs against a lot of what they're hearing. And so it's about me helping them to shift that. And I need to be in their ear the whole time. Just
Mm,
this little voice that says, no, no,
mm,
you're on the right track. You keep going. So it is the hero's journey, but it's also the hero's journey. If you look at anything, I
mhm,
happen to also be an English major. So Iliad and the Odyssey, all
mhm.
of that, right? They're never alone.
No.
They may feel alone, but they're never alone. There's always something, someone, a guide there that says, no, no, you can do this. Let me help you through this part
Mm.
and guide you. And then off you go, right?
And you have to pick your guide. Just like you gotta
Yes.
pick your teacher. So that's the reason why I like to listen to people's story. 'Cause I'm like, I like your story. I choose you to be my teacher.
Hmm.
Because in America, you're surrounded by a lot of people that fail at this thing that you're trying to do.
Hmm.
Like the weight journey. A lot of people fail at it. So you're surrounded by a lot of
Yes.
people that fail at it. So just imagine that noise you're gonna hear every day. That's why you gotta pick your guy, trust your guy on this. Like Michelle, I'm gonna listen to you because you walked it. And I can just hear your voice in my head so I can get through this thing. Because everybody's around me, I fail at it. I know what they're gonna say. Oh, you can't. I can't because they
Hmm.
have they have owned that word I can't. So
Yeah, it
RIP to
is.
I
It.
can't.
I agree with you. It really is important for you to pick. I mean, I know actually you probably have picked coaches and different things at different times, and so have I. And it is really important to pick the person that really speaks to you, really
Mm-hmm.
speaks to your heart, really resonates with you, right? It's not just about, well, they sound like they know what they're talking about, right? They
Mm-hmm.
don't, or that kind of thing. And so I do like to talk to people before they come on board because I want to make sure that we can
So
walk
you're
this
right for
journey.
them too.
I'm right for them too, right? Right. And,
Yeah.
and that we can walk this journey together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very important that that happens. And just get the help that you need.
If you had to wrap up and share your
Hmm.
biggest takeaway or giveaway from this conversation, what would it be?
I don't often think about what I do as the hero story,
Mm,
as the hero's way, as the path of the warrior.
mm,
Um, and so talking with you today
mm-hmm,
has really helped me to see the work that I do in a different light, in an elevated life, and to I'm going to think about that for quite some time. And it stirs something in me to think that the work that I'm doing is part of the hero story of my client, of the
mm,
women that I work with, that I am one of those, going back to the Iliad and Odyssey, one of those helpers, right? That Odysseus gets along the way. How do I handle the Circe? How do I handle the Cyclops? Right? I'm one of those guides.
mm-hmm,
And suddenly you have just put to me an amazing sense of responsibility,
mm,
right? And um, community, of being part of the global community.
mm,
Like I'm a conscious point of light touching this point in time in this other conscious points of life's life.
mm,
It's very emotional. I appreciate that because most of the time I'm, like you said, I study this all the time. This is all
all
I
day
do all day. I wake up, boom.
thinking about
Okay,
it, obsessed
thinking about
about it.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm,
How do I do this? How do I help? How do I, you're right.
mm-hmm,
But that grander, that bigger 10,000-foot view of the journey, the
mm-hmm,
hero story has really touched my heart. I will, and lit a fire under me about how important what I'm envisioning for my goals, my work is. So thank you.
mm. You're welcome, by the way, and thank you as well. And you mentioned earlier the Renaissance woman. You said Renaissance. What was the word you tied that to earlier?
I did midlife renaissance.
Midlife Renaissance. Yes, that was my biggest takeaway. I was thinking about it. I gotta figure out how to play with that word.
Mm-hmm.
The Renaissance, midlife Renaissance. I thought it was a unique word you just used.
Yes.
I haven't heard it. I haven't
I
heard
mean,
it.
like, right? Because a woman, and I'm gonna just put it out there to the
Hmm.
broader population, men and women, we spend our time learning,
Hmm.
then we go straight into working
Hmm.
and maybe having a family, right? And so then your world, if you're not careful, if you're not diligent, if you're not aggressive about it, starts to get smaller just by the needs of those things. Your children need you for certain things, your partner needs you for certain things, your job needs you for certain things. And then by God, you're just trying to do whatever you can for yourself to take care of yourself and be healthy and be able to do all those things.
Hmm.
And then midlife comes. And for a lot of people, it's a now what?
Mm.
And so, as a woman who is an artist, a singer, a dancer, she likes to travel, she likes to learn, she likes to read. It was about me coming back to myself as the
Hmm.
individual before I became the mother, the wife, the employer, and um, and friend. Do you see what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's in Renaissance, I mean rebirth. It's coming back to who is Asher when all of this other stuff goes away.
Hmm.
Because I had a woman, and I mentioned this, and I know we're getting, I like I said, I can talk to you all day. But I had a woman yesterday. I'm on the treadmill. She's on the treadmill. We just start talking, and she tells me that her daughter is going to college and the other daughter is 16. And so she, nobody needs her anymore. Mm. So I had to talk.
Mm.
I had to talk because she's going to be 50. Okay.
No, no one needs me anymore.
No one needs me anymore. And I know that you and I may go, what? But there are so many people, there are so many women who
Hmm.
at 50, 51, 55, 60 feel this way. So
That's a
I,
dangerous sign.
right. So I talked to her for a little while and then I left her with, instead of looking this as a midlife crisis or the midlife emptiness,
Mm.
why don't we just look at it and why don't you just think about it as your midlife renaissance? And her eyes went whoop, and she tears welled, and she was like, I'm going to have to think about that. I am going to have to really think about that. I love that. I've never heard that before.
Hmm.
And that, Asher, is my mission.
When I first heard that word, I felt it was a lot packed in it, a lot of wisdom that was packed in it where you put it together. And I was thinking about it while I was talking. I was like, man, that's a good way to put there. And you
Mhm.
just mentioned something even more, like you said, midlife emptiness. You know,
Mhm.
we got the empty nesters, but then there's an emptiness inside of us. And maybe that's what the lady was feeling when she's like, who wants me now? Because there's an emptiness inside of her. And how she go back to fill that with something that's purposeful. And
Yes.
yeah, that's amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh my God. I got one more closing question for you.
Okay. I'll try.
What is that one thing or two thing when people do it drive you crazy?
Okay. When I know it's normal
Mm.
and we're human and I have to catch myself. So I say that, I know it's a bunch of caveats, but I do say that it's when I fight for my limitations,
Mm.
when I fight for the reasons why I can't, when I'm absolutely convinced I can't because, or it's not going to happen because that's one for me. And
Mm.
also, And it's not a pet peeve. It's not what really bothers. It hurts me to see when people like don't believe in themselves.
Mm. I learned a lot about you. And this last piece you said, when they fight for their limitation, that is powerful because you will have to keep it. Like it's your property when you fight for it that much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if that's
Mm-hmm.
the only property you want to own, my friend,
Right.
then you gotta recognize. I mean, yeah, it is something. It says something about you.
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, you're right. If they decide to fight for it and keep it, as a coach, I have to step back and say, you as part of self responsibility, self agency, right?
Hmm.
Self actualization. I have to accept that about you. But you just asked me what really bothers me, what's a pet peeve, or and that's one of them. Like I have a cut that says I can't help what my face does when you're talking. Because when I start to hear people fight for themselves, I have to figure out how to, ooh, okay, just stay calm, stay calm. You're the coach. Let's see if you can help them think about it in a different way, shift it in a different way. But it's hard
Mm.
when
Like,
they
why don't? If you have so much courage for that one, why you apply it to the other side of the coin?
exactly.
Oh my God, yeah.
If you're willing to fight for that, why can't you fight for why you can do it, why you will do it, what will it take to do it, right? If you can put that
Mm,
much energy into holding it on, let's put that energy into letting it go,
mm,
right? Just let it go. Not fight it, not not destroy it. I don't have that like not conquer it so much as just let it go. It doesn't serve you.
mm. We definitely can talk all day.
I told you we could talk all day. You might have to edit here somehow.
Yes, this is it. This is it. And I definitely appreciate the generous use of your time showing up and sharing your wisdom with us, Michelle. And I learned a lot from you today too.
Great questions. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed meeting you.
Same here. Same here. You're an inspiration, by the way. So for the folks that are listening, you're tuned into Entrepreneurs and Winners podcast, a place where we collect stories and circulate life and wisdom. You've heard Michelle's story. You heard what she specialized in, what she's adding value to the world, and who she's being a hero to. And hopefully she's being a hero to you. So you can be a hero to yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Any last word, Michelle?
No, I think you said it. I love that final line. Be a hero to yourself. Yes.
All right, that's the last word. Make it an awesome week.